Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight. This is Skye with Sketch with Skye Live, and I'm thrilled to have you here. I'm here with my sweet baby Millie, and I let her on the table tonight because the sketch that we're going to be doing is all about cats, although it's about the other cat that we have, our baby kitty, Finn. But since Millie was wanting to be a scrap cat and it was appropriate for tonight's layout, I just kind of let her stay up here for just a few minutes. I hope everybody's doing great. It has been a while since I have seen you all. Thank you for your patience while I was dealing with an unexpected kid sickness, and then I was out of town for a couple of weeks making memories. I can't wait to share the photos from the last couple of weeks that I took and the scrapbooking layouts that I'll be making with them. I'm super excited about. So thanks for joining tonight, and let's get started. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera to my desktop, and bear with me for just a quick sec. I left my door open and I feel like I'm going to have an interruption if I don't change it. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera, and I will be right back with you while I switch my doors around. So as always, we're going to be working from the 101 Scrapbooking Ideas and Sketchbook. This booklet was a promo item from last year, and the new one is out. So we will be using that this year as we work on the 2025 sketches, or next year as we work on the 2025 sketches. So the layout we're going to be doing is on page 93. So I'm going to make this a 2-page layout. I'm just going to use the mirroring technique. We've done that here before. And I like this one because I can get a lot of photos on this. So my page 2 is going to have the journal box. So I'm going to, on page 1, I'm going to put a 4x6 photo here. So this will have 5 photos for the original layout. And then I may put another photo there, but likely I'll do an embellishment cluster on the next page. So this is a pretty straightforward sketch. I like that we're using the decorative trimmer. Having said that, though, some of you may know that the decorative trimmer has been discontinued. There's been a bit of an outcry about that, so I do expect that it will come back, perhaps as a limited availability item. I think the sales of it were just not strong enough to have it be a constant in-stock item, but it is one of the original Creative Memories tools, and it is well loved by many of us. So this is the version of it that that was the most recently available. It's got this pop-out arm here, a wide wave and a narrow wave. So we'll be using that tonight to create our border. I also set out a few different punches. I'm not too sure what we'll do with embellishments, but this is I can't even remember the name of this, but it's the punch that came out with the kitty cat collection earlier, a couple months ago. This is an older paw punch that I have, and I would love to use this paw print border maker cartridge. However, it is a knockout cartridge, and I need one that's more of a chain, or at least that would work a little bit better. So I think I'll use the hearts instead. This heart border maker cartridge is the OG. You'll notice that it's blue. So that was with the original CM. That was one of the first ones that ever came out back in the old CM. So anyway, my personal trimmer, excuse me, the photo trimmer, I put out some foam tape because I like to keep it out to remind me to use that. The 12-inch trimmer, which I always have out as always. The last time I was with you, I shared this awesome new silicone tool holder. And so I've got all of my goodies here. I've got my scissors, my eraser, my pen that I'm going to journal with. I've got my multi-purpose tool, my lifter stick, all the things that I use regularly, except a pencil, which I need that. So I'm going to just go ahead and throw a pencil in there. My regular tape runner and my repositional tape runner, always, always. I've got my 4x12 silicone mat that I use when I use my repositional tape runner. I always work on two 13-inch mats, so I've got those here as my base. And tonight I'm going to be using the Perfect Kitty Cat collection. I love this collection because it is feminine and masculine. So you can mix and match depending on if you have a boy kitty or a girl kitty. I have one of each, so it works out perfectly. Did you like how I did that? So I'll be using the designer paper pack as well as the designer matte paper pack. So this particular collection is one in which a matte pack was not released, but instead of that, there's this combo pack that has a cut apart mats. And then if you don't want to use those, the back side is a nice tonal print. So I love those. They're very versatile. You can use mats or embellishments, journal boxes, or the flip side, which is great. So what I have done, I have selected this turquoise houndstooth color to be my base, and the back of that is a plaid, which I will be using that as well. I'm going to be trimming it and then just flipping it over to use the front and back because I'm making a double layout. I have two sheets of that, one for each side. I'm using this the Starburst dot print. It brings together all of the colors of the collection. I'll be using the blue fishbone print. And then I grabbed some of the coordinating cardstock colors. So again, one of the great things about the Creative Memories paper collections is it always gives you the coordinating colors of cardstock there. So I grabbed the dark sea green, the blue, and the island waters for this one. And then the cut apart piece I'm going to use is this one here. I love this. This is going to be my title, the You Had Me at Meow. And then I'll be using probably this box here for my journal box. So let's get started. You may notice I already cut one of the borders. I just wanted to sample it to make sure that I liked the colors that I chose, and I did. I'll be showing you those in just a minute, but to get started, first thing we're going to do is make our base page. So the sketch suggests that the bottom portion of the page is 12 by 7.5. So that's what I'm going to cut first. That's what I want out of this piece. So that's going to give me a 4.5 piece left over. So I'm just going to cut this at the 7.5 inch mark straight down. That's going to be the bottom part of my page, and this is going to be the top part of my page. And there's going to be a border that goes here and then another piece up there. So I'm going to just go ahead and cut the second one so that I have them both ready. So again, I'm just inserting my paper at the 7.5 inch mark, and I'm going to go ahead and slice that nice and neat. So that's going to be my page 2 on this side. The next piece I need, what happened to, here it is. Guy here, I'm going to use, as I mentioned, the dot part, and that's going to be this top piece. So I probably could cut it a little bit thinner, but I just want to give myself plenty of room to work with. I'm going to cut two 2-inch strips. And I'll show you how this is all going to come together. I'll take that away. So what I'm gonna do here is essentially create a 12-inch page, a 12 by 12-inch page by using these 3 strips of paper. Something like that. Okay, and then this border is gonna go here. Don't worry, I am gonna show you how to make this border, but I just wanted to space it all out so that we could see how it was gonna look when we got it all together. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my tape runner. I'm just gonna dot some tape runner along this top edge. I'm gonna line this up here like this. Like 7.5. It's on here nice and even. 5, just give it a 1/2 inch. Okay. So, what's everybody working on out there? If you're on online, say hi. I'm just gonna switch this around just real briefly here so that I can line this up a little bit better. I should have worked from the back side. There we go. Much easier, Skye. And then this. Oops, I don't really want to do the top of that because it's gonna. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna do the same thing on this side. I'm gonna flip this over, put some tape along this top edge. I love these colors so much. They're just really fun. You know, a lot of times the animal collections are more neutral instead of brights. So it's just nice to mix this up a little bit. We've got a little bit more of a bright color. And like I said, it's perfect whether you have boy or girl kitties because the colors just go great with both. See, I put this on the top, didn't I? So this layout I'm going to do tonight is all about our baby kitty Finn. Finn, we got him the middle of August, so, and he was 8 weeks old at the time. So he's pushing 6 months old now. And he's grown so much. When we got him, he weighed 1.8 pounds, guys. He was so tiny. He was just a tiny, tiny, tiny baby. And he has a very sad story, but it's amazing because he's just a great cat. He would never know he was so traumatized as a baby. All right, so I'm going to make my border. So my border, top border consists of the blue fishbone paper, and then the background is going to be this beautiful Island Waters color. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous, and it kind of makes it pop on the page. So the wavy strip is 1.25 inches. And the background piece of the small piece is 1.25 inches, and then the background piece is 1.5 inches. So with this trimmer, I'm going to be using the short wave piece. I've already cut one, so you can see that just fits in there perfectly. And then I'm just going to move the edge of my paper up to the 1 inch mark. Okay, so that means my with the swell, that it's at 1.25 inches. So that's gonna make 1.25 inches border strip. When I cut my swells, I always go over it twice just to make sure that it's, and I'm just checking here, it's a little bit smaller than the first one. So I'm gonna cut it again, make it just a little bit bigger. I always run my blade over it twice just to make sure that I've cut all of the little dips and corners correctly. So now it's just a little bit bigger. I'm not sure if I got it too big or too small the first time I did it or what. I'm gonna try it one more time just to try to get it perfect. That is too small. This time it looks pretty close. Okay. And then I'm gonna cut the background piece. It is pretty darn close. So I'll set that aside. I may use those for some mats. And I'm gonna go ahead and adhere this down. Right, I'm gonna set my wavy trimmer aside. I won't need it again. And I can go ahead and adhere these to my base pages. And then I'll essentially have my base pages complete. Just gonna put that the 1 inch mark, just making sure that it straddles the bottom of that border. It doesn't peek through. Do the same over here. And this is just another great example of how these 13-inch mats just make your life so much easier when you're building your pages. Okay, so I've got those two together. I think they look great, fit together nicely. And so now I'm going to work on my photos and photo mats. I did pre-cut my photos out, and of course I'm looking under all of my stuff to find them. My pictures, guys. Oh, that is really funny. No photos. Here. Bear with me while I look through my piles here. I'm gonna leave that out because I'm gonna need to cut some of those out. I can set those guys aside. Oh. Here they are, right where I left them. Okay. So the photos, the square photos are 3.5 by 3.5 square, and so their mats are going to be 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So that just leaves an 1/8 of an inch mat all around. The big one in the middle is 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, and then this title is there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the pieces here that I'd like to use. So I'm just going to trim this down, just line it up with my cut line on my trimmer. Cut these guys out. I just love the ease of this. And then the back side, isn't that pretty? I really love that as well. So you have a lot of options. So with this guy, I'm going to cut it down 1/8 of an inch on each side so that it's 3 3/4 by 5 3/4 all around. And that 1/8 of an inch is just that second dotted line on the cut line. So that makes it easy. Okay, so that's trimmed down so that it's 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. That's the mat I'm going to use on page 2, or the journal box, I should say. And then take this guy here. And this is supposed to be the title. They're looking for 3 3/4 by 2 1/4. And so this is 3 by 4. So I just need to take 1/4 of an inch total, so 1/8 of an inch on each side. So let's see, this is 3 3/4. Right, 3 3/4. Okay, so that's 3 3/4, and then it needs to be 2 1/4. It's currently 3, so I need to take a total of 3/4 of an inch, and of course 3/4 doesn't divide nicely by 2. So I'm going to start by taking 1/4 of an inch off of each side. And then I can just take another 1/8. 2 1/4, right? So there's my title bar. I've trimmed that down. And I have a lot of more fun options for that as we go along. So these guys are gonna go, this is gonna go here, this is gonna go here. This is when my husband picked up Finn from the animal shelter. I'll tell you that that definitely created a bond between them. He is absolutely my husband's cat. I mean, he loves all of us, and we all love him, but I feel like those two definitely have a very special bond. And then these, he was just so stinking cute. I can't believe how tiny he was. So tiny. 1.8 pounds, this baby kitty. Put it there like that. It's gonna go something like that. I just need to get these mats on here. So, I have a few options. I could kind of mix and match the mats. I might want to pull in this Island Waters color to bring that together. And I also feel like it could use a little bit more contrast because there's a lot of blue green going on there, and I don't really want to incorporate the pink, and so I actually may go with the brown also because he's a ginger. And so that might kind of bring that out a little bit too. So I think I'll do the big photos in the Island Waters and probably maybe 2 more. And then I'll do like 4 in brown and just kind of balance it out a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut my Island Waters mat. So I need 2 that are 4x6. And I'm gonna need some more of this paper. So here's my six. And then I'm gonna do oops, I cut this just a little bit too wide. These are 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. It's a nice strip I can use somewhere. So I've turned this 4 photo 1-page layout into a 9 photo 2-page layout by using the mirroring technique. And this is symmetrical, so it's not even really a mirror, it's just 2 identical pages as well. I mean, it is a mirror, but I think you know what I mean. I think maybe I'll do these 2 in the brown and the 2. This one and this one. All right, and I'm gonna grab brown. I kind of feel like the bronze or the copper might actually look a little bit better than the straight up brown. But let's take a look and see. I mean, the copper is actually the color that there is a dark brown in there too. So I'll go with that. I actually have 2 browns. One's a chocolate fudge and use the brown. I think the dark one is just too dark. Too much contrast. The beige is also One of the colors, it actually matches in there perfectly. Do you think? Kind of trying to decide which is better, beige or I think the brown is going to look better overall. It's not going to provide as much contrast, but it's going to be good. All right. So I need 4 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 mats. My paper is a little bit stuck there, so I'm going to turn it like this. So there's 2. I need 1 more of the Island Waters. I'm sure it's the right one. I have quite a few different variations of sort of this aqua blue green. So I just wanted to make sure I had the right one. Okay, so this should give me the last of my mats, and I realized I didn't cut one for the titles. So I'm going to grab my brown back again here. I think I'll use brown for that. And that needs to be 4 by 3.5. Four. It's not going to work. I need this second one, but I'm going to go ahead and so that I have it. And that is incorrect. It should be 4 by 2.5. There's a typo on the sketch. 2.5. I'm making lots of nice little scrap pieces for another project later. Okay. So I have all of my mats, and I'm just going to go ahead and start adhering everything. I want to lay it out first, though, just to make sure I like the look of it all. And that would go there. This will go here. So cute. It's hard to believe he was so tiny. He's grown so quickly. He's probably 6 pounds now, and he is all boy. And if he fits the reputation that orange cats have for themselves, he's definitely, if he was a child, I think we would call him precocious. He's just something else. He's a real character when it comes to just playing hard, and he's not what I would call necessarily destructive, but he can definitely be a little rough. It's maybe the word I'm looking for. Okay, so just doing simple mat, adhering these mats to these photos to all of these mats that I've just cut. If you've watched me before, followed me at all, you know, I like to mat just about everything. I mean, occasionally I'll leave something unmatted. But I just like the look, the finished look of something being matted. I just feel like it gives it a nice polish to it. Now, of course, the more layers you create on your page, the heavier your pages are. And sometimes we like to keep our pages a little bit on the lighter side so that our albums don't get too heavy, or so that we can fit more pages in our albums. So it's just kind of a balancing act, you know, you just choose what works. And so I'm just kind of spreading these out so that they have equidistant borders all around. And that's gonna get that guy there, and that's gonna get that guy there. Something like that and like that. Okay. And I'm just eyeballing it. If you're super particular, you could get out your zero centering ruler and line things up from corner to corner. I think with something like this, it's a grid style, so it's fairly easy to just put into position and kind of eyeball it without being super exact. You'll be pretty close just by fitting it on the page. And you'll notice with my tape runner, I just put a little bit in each corner. You know, you don't need to adhere everything down super heavy, because this is really great tape. It's little dab will do you, and there's no sense in wasting tape runner unnecessarily. And also I'll say that when you just put it down in the corner, it makes it easier to move around if you had to. You know, you can just use your multi-purpose tool and lift up these items. They're only tacked down in the corner. If you tacked them down all around, it's going to be a lot harder to do that. And you know, that doesn't happen all the time. You know, maybe you're not like me and you don't change your mind or put something in the wrong place or put something upside down. But you know, it's just another reason to not necessarily go super heavy on the adhesive, because you don't need to. Your albums are going to stay together just fine by putting stuff in the corner. It saves money in that you're not using a ton of tape runner, and it makes your page options a little bit more flexible. Now, of course, there is the repositional tape runner. So if you are someone who, you know, is unsure of what you're doing, or not, you know, think you might swap some things out or get things on, you know, not perfectly straight all the time, then the repositional tape runner is absolutely a choice, because it's easy to reposition, as the name would suggest. And it also becomes permanent within about 48 to 72 hours. So, you know, you always have that option to use your repositional. I like to use my regular tape runner for most things like this, and I use my repositional tape runner on items that are small or intricate, that the tape runner, regular tape runner segments don't do such a great job of fitting onto. So that's the distinction that I usually make when I'm doing mine. I'll use my repositional a lot for like border makers, you know, strips that have come from the border maker or the border punches, and just real anything that's got like perforations or a lot of delicate pattern to it where there might be some small wispy pieces or some cutout portions of it. That's where the repositional works great because you can just go over it all, and where you don't need it, it's not going to go. It's crazy seeing this tiny baby here, and I can't really show you, but he is lying in his bed in the corner of my scrapbook room. He does like to come in here when I'm working, and he's so cute. He when he lies in this bed in here, he makes biscuits, and he doesn't do that anywhere else. I'm actually not going to tape this down because I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do here yet. We'll work on that in a minute. So I've gotten all of my photos and my title adhered. Now you'll notice that in the sketch, it suggests some borders, and it's a border maker. So I'm going to take a look and see what I have here for border stickers. And I might go that route rather than a border maker. So these are super cute. This one matches it's sort of like yarn balls, and it kind of matches the size and shape of that. So I think I probably will use this. I'm trying to decide if I should use it here or here. I'm going to go ahead and cut out a strip of hearts so that we can see, compare and contrast. And I'm not sure what color I want the hearts to be. Maybe brown. I mean, brown hearts. Actually, brown's not going to work because I don't think I have enough of that color of brown. My scraps here. I might be able to, oops, that's not the right color. I miss this light brown color. I wish we still carried it. I'm digging for my scraps, but I don't see any strips that I think will be big enough to put in the border maker. I have little strips, but nothing big enough. So the brown's not gonna, I don't have a matching brown that would make that border. So we'll see if this is too much of this aqua. Oh gosh, I haven't used this in a long time, and I see that there's some paper in here. The last time I tried using it, it looks like, which is not necessarily a super great sign for this border maker. Like I said, this is one of the original ones, so it is probably like at least 10, 12 years old. New CM just had their 10th birthday. I don't know how much time I'm gonna spend trying to clear this out. I'm trying to use my tweezers to get that out of there. But I'll try one more thing, guys. See if I can get it out using. This is a little bit more productive. This multi-purpose tool, you know, I don't think it was made for this, but let me tell you, it works with so many, works on so many things. Yeah, I got that out of there, guys, no problem. Yay, add this to the amazing uses of the multi-purpose tool. Such a great item. This one is special color. It was part of a secret box, but they're normally blue and white. And if you do not have one, I highly, highly recommend it. It's one of my most used tools and is just it lasted forever. So my original one that I got in the early 2000s, I finally just had to replace it this past year. So it just lasts forever. All right, we'll give this guy a shot. I'm hoping that it doesn't, its paper doesn't get stuck in it like it did. So far, so good. This border actually is a little wider than I thought it would be. So I don't know, I think it's too big. Yeah, it's too big to go in there. So maybe, but it's okay to go down here. So maybe that's the way I'll do it. I'll put this one up here. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cute. I think that looks cute. We'll do that. Since I have these, I'm just gonna go ahead and put this down. And here's a great example of using this tape runner. I'm going to go ahead and just go over this. And you can see where it's got, you know, negative spaces, and I'm just going over it because I want this border to adhere nice and well. So and there's this plaid provides a great straight line. I'm just going to go ahead and line the top of the hearts up to this pink line in the plaid. I think that looks great. All right, so I'm going to cut another one of these. And this is a great punch in that it has the cutouts that are useful. So I'm going to save some of those hearts. I might use them for part of my embellishments. And go ahead and cut another one of these. So this is the first time you're seeing the border maker system. This is the paper holder and tray, and there are notches on the border cartridge that line up with notches along here. So I just slide this in here, I secure it in those notches and press down like you would a regular punch, and then move it down to the next one. So just continue down a piece of paper until you've reached the end. There's my border. Here's some more cute hearts that I don't want to dispose of just yet. And I can get rid of. my other scraps. So always look at like this line, this piece of paper here. This is actually these can be great additions to your pages as well. You can use them as just a nice little strip to offset something. So I wouldn't necessarily get rid of that right away either. Okay. Well, we're done with the border marker system. I can put those away. And then I just need to put the sticker strip and border here. Sticker strip first. I try to line it up as best I can with this other page, just so that it looks like a continuation. Okay. And then my border strip. Adhesive on that. And I'm gonna get my tool back out and lift this guy up. Remember how I was saying it's a good idea. Now this one, the plaid is not quite in the same place, so I'm gonna use my first page to line that up. And that looks like that's gonna go about right there. Maybe. Let's go up a little bit more. There we go. All right, so, and then I can put this back down. There. Okay. Let's go here. All right, so now at this point, I really just have some additional embellishing if I want to do that. And my journaling. Now you'll notice in this sketch, there is not any additional embellishments, which is interesting. I guess they figure that it's kind of top heavy with embellishments with that wavy border and the border strips in there. But because it is a 2-page layout, I tend to really feel like I'd like to see some triangle things going on here. So one of the things I would say is that with this here, I could add a little bit of maybe some sticker embellishments, and this could be one point in my triangle, and I might do something like maybe up here, something down here, and then back up here again, maybe here, just to kind of do a visual triangle. And I think, to do that, I would use my stickers, some of these heart punches, and possibly, this cute little kitty punch. I don't think I'll use this. This is a little bit big, and I think I'll stick to these. So I think what I'll do is I will finish my embellishments offline. I've been with you for quite a while, almost an hour tonight. There's great stickers on here, both icons of cat paws and kitties themselves and toys and all sorts of cute things. Look at this cat hanging in the planter. I just love that. And then there's some great phrases over here too. Like one of them says part of the family, which I think is a good one. And fluffy but fierce is also perfect because yes, this cat is absolutely fierce. Is a great name for it and a great word for it. So I think I'll finish up my embellishments offline and I'll snap a photo and post them for you guys to see and also for you guys to um, add your takes on these. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch back to my regular camera here, get you on my face. All right, so this was a super fun layout to do. I enjoyed kind of reliving the early days of our baby kitty in the house, as well as really make some pages that really commemorate, you know, adopting him the first days that he was with us and just being reminded of what a special part of our family he is. So it was fun for me to do this layout, and I love that we got so many pictures on here, 9 photos on 2 pages. So that's great. Plus, made some fun decorative elements and really put together a pretty pages layout. All right, thanks again for joining me this week. Gosh, it's a busy week. I've got a crop. So for those of you here in Tucson, Friday and Saturday is my November weekend crop. On Sunday, I'm doing the Baked with Love workshop. I've got 1 kit left. So if you're interested in joining the workshop, I've got 1 spot available and we're going to make a really fun, very precious recipe memory book. And then, you know, we're off to the races. Thanksgiving is next week, and December is always a busy, busy month. But I'll be back with Sketch with Skye next week, the day before Thanksgiving. I might change the time on that and come to you a little bit earlier, or possibly do a recording. So we'll see about that, but I will be here. Thanks again, guys. Have a great night, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments about tonight's project. All right. Good night, everyone.